And hello again. Nearing the end now, so final stretch. Last bit of hobby progress. Working on Seamus at the moment. Still getting some colour on all the models at least. You know which colour they are. We'll come back to in a moment. As for games, only one game this month with Seamus. Versing Hoffman. Bit of an odd one. I decided to cake in aka Sebastian Baker. He wasn't the best pick for like the scenario or the matchup, but I wanted to put him on the table, and I think the last few games of this year, if I can get some more in, we'll probably be putting some certain models on the table, regardless of what, just to try them out. They're going to be sitting on the shelf for a while before they come up again, so might as well. But that's all sort of a report for this month. So the other thing I was going to talk about is finishing off my cruise. So McMorning and Transmort. Oh, sorry. Experimental. There's a bunch of Transmorters in there, so I'm getting myself confused. In colour schemes, it's a bit of a hard one because there's such a great diversity between the doctors, the humans of the crew versus the undead. And the undead, you're just doing a lot of flesh tone. It's not really a way I found to tie them in color-wise. So the only thing that really ties the keyword together is the bases. Now, the tiles themselves, not too hard to make. Just some card cut to shape. I mean, cutting round squares is not the easiest, but we get there. And a few little blood spatters here and there. I did want to do more to the bases, but I couldn't work out what sort of random decorations you'd find on the floor of a morgue. And my experiment's body parts just actually didn't look that good. It was very tacky, just random limbs of models. Very obvious, not that fun. So we're here. I did have some fun with blood effects. Picked up some of the Dirty Downs gore. I did consider picking up doing it on the leftovers themselves, but I found it's not that good with small mouths. Like, you really need a good size to get a good effect. Like here, I don't really think this adds too much to the model. I've thought about getting the snot variant and trying that, because you can have some dribbling off the tongue. It could be more effective. And you see, I got my first edition McMorning. He's still my favourite sculpt. He's one of those ones that's really changed through the editions. But I'm just always loved this. I think it's one of my best freehand painting on pretty much any model. But that's all there really is to Transmorters. Bit of a tricky one to draw together, but they work. I've got a couple there. We might manage to finish. I'm hoping to at least get some colour on the new Rogue Necromancy, which I updated to the alt version because he looks so much better than the original metal one. There are some I don't find, as I said, like first edition McMorning I think holds up really well, but a lot of the first edition stuff, just the new stuff looks so much better now. And the other crew. So this started out with, obviously, in third edition, you'd have Seamus, you'd have your 3 Rotten Bells, your 2 Doxies, and Madame Sibel, who are not really worried about mourners and dead dandies. I don't think were worth caking previous edition. And Betty is mostly black. So I thought 7 models, convenient, nice little rainbow colour scheme. Now, this did get buggered up a little in the new one when we lost technically the Rotten Bells, but I keep those models over the Doxies myself, only because I think, again, they're just nicer than the metal versions. So we sort of had the plans. Now, green's pretty easy. It stays with Seamus and his totems, as though we've replaced with the iconic version, so we can have mainly the green on the good old lady. But we bring in the other ones. So obviously we just emphasize the red more on Betty. And we bring in the mourners, can be a second dark purple and a darker blue. And this leaves us our free, even if we leave these in as options, leaves us our free dead dandies, filling in the last slots for double ups. Yellow, orange, and a nice light blue. And we managed to maintain the colour scheme pretty well over the whole crew. So we can just choose between what bells we want based on what other models we have to try and have the spectrum across every game we play. It doesn't work overly well, because I tend to cake both Mourners and Madame Sibyl and all that in every game. But out of all my reses, it's been the most fun painting these and coming up with how to fit them all into the theme. I don't think there's too many crews in Malifaux where you can have such a variety of colour and have it look good. I mean, the only other one I can think of off the top of my head would obviously be Performers. But I have the circus version of that and not the showgirls, so I don't get that fun on that side. But yeah, nice and easy one this month. That's the current crew. We did originally, I think Old Seamus is on here, for basing. I made cobblestones. I have a texture roller. I use the one from Green Stuff World myself, but it's mostly changed when I got the iconic Seamus, who comes with this pre-molded base, and it is a somewhat small keyword, so using these pre-molded bases, it's not too bad, not prohibitively expensive. If there's expansions, you only have to add 1 or 2. Some of the others, such as Guard or Cavalier, I just think there's too many, and just making my own cobblestones works so much better, so much more reliable. The only one I obviously didn't rebase is Old Seamus, because we never use him, because we either use the iconic model or obviously are different for the title. So I suppose they're both titles now. But yeah, simple one this month. So I think that's all. One more to go, and then we have to start learning whole new faction. But for now, that's me, Captain Steel, signing out.